Now, difficult to collect money from franchisee? Yes, it was. Now, why do I say it was, and why do I again go back to GSM theory? Now we are a prepaid machine. So our machines, basically our franchisees are buying liters of water balance on machine, saying, okay, give me 1 lakh liter. I want to produce 1 lakh liter over this month, and that's just a projection. If he runs out of 1 lakh liter balance, he purifies 1 lakh liter in 20 days, he buys more. And we provide that, and that's all doable through your mobile phone, a simple mobile phone, a 1100 rupees mobile phone. We designed the RO machine, yes, as I was talking about the water industry earlier, saying people used to use the entire room, however big it would be, to lay the machine, right? So there was no grid to the machine. Now you see this iron frame. This was a simple innovation. We put everything inside something, and we said, this is compact now. You can lug it off the truck. Just put it there, plug it, install. This is ready. Tomorrow the franchisee is not willing, take it out, put it back into the truck and bring it back. Can I use this? Oh, okay. Thanks. We saturate in clusters, obviously, even if you are working with the help of GPRS and GSM and whatnot, new technology. But the point is, if you are trying to do something in a place like Rajasthan or in a place like Gujarat, what would make more sense for you? You go to the next village also, and then to the next village also, and to the next village also, or you want to do 3 villages in UP and 3 villages in Punjab. That kind of CSR doesn't really make any sense for somebody who is really trying to maximize the social impact. Real-time monitoring technology, I have already spoken about it. This black box, we call it Suchak. This is the touch screen operated piece, and this has been dumbed down. Typically we say the degree of skills required actually determine what kind of a technology can be scaled up or not. So here, if the operator is not even 10th pass, forget about that. Even if he is not literate, he would just go and press a drop sign, and there will be an SMS coming to our server, and that will open up on my file saying, hello, this machine is asking for help, and somebody from my call center would call up, hey, what happened to your machine? And it's that easy. All of this we can rush through because we are anyway running out of time. So the low volume solar, now this is another piece. Okay, so for rural India, we said, let's put up purification units, make them a smaller size. Instead of making a big 50,000 liter plant, you just make 500 liter per hour plants and put it in every big enough village, and then make sure saying your franchisee is incentivized to deliver it to everyone who understands it, and then you create a team to make people understand it. But here is a problem. What about urban India? How do we do it? Urban India, as most of us know, the water footprint of urban population is huge. And our day-to-day usage of water, like per capita per day usage, and our tendency to spoil, let the water spill and waste are much higher than rural India. If you don't take into account the inefficiencies in agriculture. So what am I talking about here? So basically, you can't really put filtration units everywhere and say, let somebody do the distribution. Yes, distribution of piped type, the piping that comes to our house, everybody has it, right? That is the urban solution 50 years back. But now what are we talking? Singapore is already talking about the 4-tap supply and whatnot. But what are we saying? We are saying basically, like your dairy booths, you could have water booths everywhere. Solar operated, so they have lesser energy footprint. And then this is as easy as your RFID card with which you actually sign in and sign out of your company office. Everybody knows those cards, right? And this is at 50 paisa per liter because this is in your neighborhood. And this is any time. This is an ATM, water ATM. So that's another innovation, and we have just about started putting it. In Ahmedabad, there is a slum called Tekra. 3 of these machines over the last 20 days have been put up there, and we are just hoping that our interfaces are good enough for even illiterate people to actually figure out how to use it, and we are giving the cards for free, and then you can buy the water balance on it. Yes, I am keeping the ideological question to the last, whether selling of water, that is ethical or not. right? We'll take that also. When I see some square sum. So this is unified backend management. We can talk about it later on in our free time. So what is impact? So we are trying to redefine it, especially when it comes to water. You take UN studies, you take WHO studies and their definition. So what are they defining water availability as? As proximity. We are saying, where is the provision? You see the difference, right? So if I were to go back, I don't know which is your going back button on this. Yeah. So I'm saying, if that kind of a hand pump is available there, would you consider that safe drinking water versus actually having a safe drinking water provision? There's no difference right now other than the chemical properties of water and defining the ppms and TDS levels and whatnot, CODs and BODs that Mr. Mayor was also talking about. Other than defining the chemical properties, nobody is actually defining water availability as more than proximity. So what are we talking about? The drinking water needs much greater insights in terms of definitions, in terms of how do you make sure those are provided. Now, what is scaling? As I have already spoken, we are using the franchise model, entrepreneurs, and this is capital light because they don't have to pay for the machine. Now, our biggest challenge to growth is finding entrepreneurs. Now, how does that happen? Because of this, and this is why I'm using this platform also to talk about it, because of this, a big business house coming up with some fancy scheme and we'll give something for free, that mentality all over India. I mean, any remote area you try to work in, you would see people coming to you and asking, saying, okay, so what will we get at the end of it, right? It's not really talking about the outcome, but basically saying, what are you going to plant here for free? Now, that creates a problem, and finding real entrepreneurs who are, whose values are aligned. A, they are willing to work hard because this is not an easy job. Like 20 kilo or 20 liter carboy serving 300 customers a day, that takes a lot of manpower, a lot of work. And the other thing is saying that company is dictating price. Company is saying, I am giving you machines, so you make sure you are not selling it more than 30 paisa per liter at the outlet and not more than 50 paisa per liter at the doorstep. So you are being allowed only a certain spectrum, certain band to charge for the delivery. Now here is the problem. In small towns already there are businesses which are selling it at 20 rupees and 30 rupees for 20 liter. If you go for the branded ones, obviously 50 rupees and 80 rupees. But my franchisee feels like, why is company constraining that? I can give much bigger share to the company, right? And that still continues to be a challenge. And that's why I'm saying that finding the entrepreneurs with the right value set, that's a challenge we are still facing. Right now, we are 120 individual franchisees, 8 districts in Gujarat and Rajasthan. We also have some footprint in UP, in Mathura district. MP there was interested in this model. And 75,000 plus people drinking clean water, I must add, daily. And 250 people earning their livelihood, 70% team. And so challenges to growth and replication, let's discuss those also briefly. Technology is globally scalable because this is based on GSM. Already people from Tanzania, Nigeria, there is interest, people are showing interest. And when you were talking about saying what kind of social venture capital fund could be available, so people like Acumen and others have done due diligence on us like 2 years back, right? So everybody seems, we've already won Sankalp Award and other things, which basically says, okay, this is the model. But how do you replicate? As I spoke, saying there are other challenges also. It requires patient capital. So we are trying to address the CSR issue here. That's why I would sort of underline this particular thing, saying, these mean the same thing. Either you say it's not loan, become an investor, or you say that loan should be soft loan, which means at a lower interest rate, or you say it will take longer time to break even. All of this is the same. You're just saying that reduce the profit margin expectation and make sure that you have the revenue discipline to deliver. That's the big difference. Urban has huge potential, needs a model. We are ourselves just working out the details of it. Hard to find trustable franchisees. And the bracket in India is not to say that India has that problem. It's to say we have tried this out in India, and at least in India we know saying this is difficult. And standard marketing not effective. Yes, you can't really go for your television or radio marketing, all of that. That's way too expensive. I'm talking about 30 paisa per liter and 12 paisa per liter. So, we just can't afford it, right? And so we have to figure out saying what are the low-cost ways of doing it. Maybe hire a camel put a big banner on the camel and leave the camel free in the town for the entire day, and camel going from one road to another, and there this Sarvajal big banner going. I mean, those kind of thing, and the camel owner is happy because he didn't have any work for the camel, right? And he earned some 200 rupees for the day, and that's like free compared to any television or radio marketing, right? So need to address regulatory risk. That's another big thing, and I would say when the government representatives are here, I would like to underline this thing also. Most of us know saying groundwater rights in India are not well defined. If you own the chunk of land, you seem to have the right to the water beneath it, right? So I can come to the latest correction. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong on that, but let me finish first that. So that's one issue. Second, you are saying of all the groundwater which is being pumped out, about 80–85% of that is being used for agriculture. And I'm not an expert on agriculture, but my friends would tell saying a lot of agricultural water usage is inefficient. So even if you were to make a 10%, I'm talking 10% efficiency, I mean, let the efficiency go up by 10%, you would be able to make drinking water available again for the entire India. You see that? So the drinking water and the domestic consumption itself is like 7% block. The industries are somewhere in 11% block, and about 80% is going to agriculture. You are saying this 80%, even if 10% efficiency happens there, the drinking water and the domestic use, water availability for domestic use would just get double. So what are we talking about? We are saying there could be a community filtration unit which has an incentivized model and which could be helped through a CSR. So let me also clarify, we are a for-profit model. We are a for-profit company registered as a company, right? But then what is the CSR angle here? So let's go to the next slide. Oh, can you come back? Yeah. So I'm not an academician. I'm just trying to give a very, very, brief analysis of the way we look at it. So there are relief kind of initiatives. There are rehabilitation kind of initiatives. People who are feeling like we have started this factory here, there might be some ill effects, and just around the factory you're trying to solve the problem, right? There could be capacity building kind of approach where there are subject specific approach saying, okay, the local NGOs, the CBOs, their capacity needs to be strengthened and all of that. And there could be advocacy related thing, although I've seen very little of the CSR going into advocacy, but there could be, right? Developing a sustainable, replicable solution. I call that laboratory design. So under Piramal Foundation, we have something called GDL, Grassroots Development Laboratory, which actually works as a conduit for many of the, I would call them non-Indian Indians, they are sons and daughters of people who went, like in previous generation, went abroad, and they want to come, experience India, they are well educated, and they want to try out some idea and come up with the solution. So GDL is that design, and this is not about GDL, this is about Sarvajal right now. But so GDL is how one of the volunteer came back and he said, okay, I want to solve the health problem in Baggar town of Jhunjhunu district in Rajasthan. Now the guy came up with an idea. I mean, when he came here, then only he was thinking of saying, oh, I want to start a mobile van. I mean, I'm coming from US, I should be doing something fancy, right? But that didn't work out, and he was humble enough to accept that, saying, oh, the costs are not working out. And then suddenly realized, fluoride content is way too high. Everybody is seemingly having joint problems. Everybody is seemingly having, the yellow teeth problem in that part of the Shekhawati. And Shekhawati, mind you, is a place where 70% of who is who of corporate India actually comes from. Like you talk about Birlas, you talk about Alan Mittal, you talk about Modis, you talk about Singhaniyas, you talk about Piramals. Shekhawati is 3 district area in Rajasthan, right? And it's heavily fluoride affected. There has been a lot of philanthropy that has been done in past there, like setting up hospitals, setting up schools and colleges and whatnot. But somehow, selling of water, because there was a cultural taboo attached to it, never actually occurred. And this gentleman, this young fellow, 20 years old, saying, okay, let me purify water and try selling it at 15 paisa per liter in